I mean, it's first off, I think you got to give credit to your opponent, and I thought they made a lot of difficult shots, and then they made a lot of shots where, we got a contest on, but they still made them. But when it boils down to it, it's 2 games in a row where in the first half on Friday it was points off turnovers that really got us in the first half. And then this game, it was 23 points off turnovers they got to our 6. Our second chance points are good because that's kind of who we are. But we can't give teams those kind of numbers off turnovers. We had 14 for the game, but that just shows they made us pay on almost every single one of our turnovers. And just some of them were just catastrophic, turnovers to layups or turnovers to open threes. But you give them credit. I just felt they made the plays. They mixed their defenses up, which I thought there for a stretch it just kind of got us standing. They make their run, and then they made a run in the second half. I thought we answered each time, but just not enough. So I told our guys, we out-rebound this team by 10, and we get 17 offensive boards. I think our want-to's there. We got to really sit back, watch film, and do a better job as a staff and a better job as a team of valuing the ball and just not making bad plays offensively that just really hurt our defense. So that's kind of where this game kind of gets summed up.
Questions for Deng? Deng, you talk about the turnaround, the home, but that quick of a turnaround with the travel distance, and was that difficult for both teams?
Yeah, I think so for both teams. I mean, we got to travel a lot, wake up early, and then come back, still practice early, and just get everything taken care of. We got to be mentally, we got film and all that other stuff, so kind of is hard, a little difficult.
There's 2 runs they had today in the first half and the second half, but you clawed your way back, at the end there. But did you sense momentum might be enough to carry you over the top at that point?
I'm not sure. I mean, in the game we have our mental lapses and mental lapses in us. I don't know how to explain it, but basically it is kind of hard. But at the same time, we digging ourselves so deep, so it might be hard to come out from that hole. So it just depends.
Looking forward to playing Alabama?
Yeah, most definitely.
What challenge does that present?
I mean, it's still another basketball game. They play basketball, we play basketball, so we just got to have the right mindset coming to approaching the game and approaching the situation.
Questions for Coach? The 2 runs. I mean, you were in pretty good shape the first one. You were kind of, the tempo was in your favor. You weren't turning it over. But you came back from that. The second run
and they kept making plays.
Yeah.
And within it, we had opportunities, whether it was some really good looks or whether some plays around the rim. We had some good opportunities. And then, they would come down if we got a couple baskets in a row. I just felt like they'd always come down and answer us.
That one basket was missing. That just.
Yeah, well, the stops were missing sometimes. Sometimes it's about getting stops. It's about, getting that rebound. We give up a one-on-one offensive rebound on the backside that ended up leading to a 3 kind of during that time that we were clawing back. We have some foolish turnovers as we're trying to make that run back. And it just adds to their fuel, right, when you do that. And so, you got to try to shut off their oxygen a little bit. You got to try to cut their fuel off. And I just felt like we kept refueling them with opportunity. And we just weren't taking we weren't taking advantage of ours.
Their 3-point shooting at points of the game where it was astounding.
Yeah.
I mean, the stats at the end probably leveled it off a little bit, but there was a time where they were 66% on threes in the second half.
Yeah, well, they ended up 15 to 24, which is still 62%, I think, from the game. That's pretty good.
But they would hit the big 3 when they needed it. It seemed like it every time.
Yeah. That's why I think you got to give these guys. I think you got to give UTSA credit. What's really disappointing for us is, even within those guys making that many threes, the points off turnovers killed us. And a lot of them were just a little more self-inflicted turnovers. They weren't as much as what the defense was doing. It's just us not really being strong enough with the ball or making the right play, making the right decision. And there we were, with all those mistakes and all those things happening and them shooting the lights out of it. I think we had it down to did we have a one-possession game? And then he hits a step-back 3 that bounces around the rim and falls in. And credit to them for making that play. Kid's a really good player. 3 played great tonight. Didn't play as much against us in the first game, didn't shoot it well in that game, didn't play much, but he was 20 points a game at Southern last year. Primo Spears is a Florida State transfer, was at Georgetown. I mean, pretty good player. Well composed, hard to trap, hard to ball screen coverage because he can make the play and he can make mid-range shots. When he's out hitting step-back threes. But here we go. All that being said, we had it to a 1-possession game. And nothing, we weren't taking advantage of a lot of opportunities, but there we sat with a 1-possession game. So it's just like, I told my team, I believe we can win the Summit League. I'm saying it out loud to the world. I believe we can. Because if we correct these things that we're doing wrong, and a lot of it is, and we will, these turnovers that lead to points for the other team in a quick fashion. We got to stop this. And as a staff, we got to look at it. As a team, we got to look at it. We got to do a better job of being a better team for 40 minutes. And I think we have it. We have the guys that like each other, that fight for each other. We don't have these guys that are going the wrong direction. I think we got guys that are collectively in that locker room on the same page and fighting for each other. But we got landmines all over the place that are just kind of making it harder. So nothing said this crap was easy, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. And the belief you got to have in each other and yourself and in this team, like you got to have it. Like that's why we do this. And this is growth for us. Good. I'm glad, we're going through this right now. Good. If this can't make you stronger, better, more connected, then there's a problem. So that's our take.
Turning the page, you get Alabama. I mean, it's the game everybody talks about.
Yeah.
And it's here.
I mean, we played against really, some of these teams that are in that top 10 mix in the past. Gonzaga's a team like that. We played at Iowa State, and they were a team that I think, I don't know if they were at the time, but they were a team that got in that top 5 not long after we played them. You got to just play every possession like it's the most important possession. But, you should do that every time you play. And what I love about playing against a team like Alabama is their length is going to be incredible. Their depth is going to be awesome. They're going to have a really good skilled players. They're going to have a guy like Sears that is one of the best players in the country. And everything we do is going to get pushed and tested, and it's going to be really, really hard. So that helps you get better. We're going to have to be stronger with the ball. We're going to have to cut harder. We're going to have to make harder passes. We're going to have to defensively get back and stop. I mean, everything about this game is going to be. It's going to be a situation where it's such an awesome opportunity to improve and get better. And, whatever happens, fight every possession and then see what happens, because they're awfully good.
Does coaching against Grant Nelson when he was with the Bison kind of help game plan for this one?
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, we know Grant's game a little bit. I think Grant's game's evolved since he's been here, since he's been at North Dakota State. He's gotten bigger, stronger. I think, on both sides of the floor, I think he's a guy that's continued to grow as a player. So where he was when he was at North Dakota State and we played him, I think he's a lot different player now than what he was then. So I don't know if it helps us. He's awfully good, man, and his skill set, his size, his physicality, I think have all gotten better and improved. So, good opportunity. I've got a chance to watch Grant play since he was a junior in high school. And it's kind of fun to see him doing well. That's what you want for any young person, right? Is you want to see when they take those chances and they take those risks that they go make something happen. And I think he's doing an awfully good job of that.
How special do you kind of see it being, obviously he's going to be playing in his home state, maybe not against the team they play with, but a rival, just playing in the home state for the community of the state of North Dakota. How special do you think that's going to be?
I think having the University of Alabama on our campus and in our gym is going to be, it's a cool opportunity. You don't see teams do that very often. Like you don't see teams from those leagues do that very often. So credit to them that they wanted to, because there's going to be it's going to be a fun, packed environment. And it's up to us and our job to go out there and compete every possession to see what happens.